Thank you, everybody. This is Shawn Davidson. I oversee our risk management program here at Quest. I have been in the risk management, cybersecurity leadership space for going on 25 years. And we're here today to talk about a couple of different engagements and ways that Quest can help with clients. We call it managed governance and then our CISO services. So most of you are probably familiar with either virtual CISO or the term managed CISO. Ultimately, you're outsourcing your chief information security officer, your strategic oversight and leadership for governance. And it's actually becoming extremely popular as regulations become more tight. Organizations want to look to become compliant with SOC 2 Type 2 or your CMMC for Department of Defense organizations. And so we've had a really good amount of success here with both our one-time and our ongoing strategic consulting services. And what we've seen as far as why as we've had success is there's a tremendous challenge in the marketplace. Organizations that are either startup organizations or historically have been, maybe working with government, and I keep going to CMMC here, but have never really had to have a CISO, have never really had to have policies and structures and procedures to be able to prove that they are compliant with regulations or that they have good cybersecurity and risk management controls in place, now have that responsibility and have that requirement. So we're seeing that through Department of Defense, we're seeing it with our government clients, but we're also seeing it with maybe startup companies or organizations that even are looking to, just gain cybersecurity insurance. So even in order to have cybersecurity insurance these days, you have to have these controls, you have to have governance, and a lot of the frameworks that are in place, whether that's through NIST or other cybersecurity and risk frameworks, mandate that you assign an individual as being responsible for oversight for your risk management and cybersecurity program. So our position here is historically been, kind of a tandem of both reoccurring services and one-time professional services. So probably for the last 10, 15 years, we've engaged with clients to do, these tactical but semi-strategic projects, whether that's, you'll see some acronyms here, BIA, BCP, or DR plans. I think most folks that are going to be listening to this are technical in nature, but BIA is a business impact analysis. Business continuity plan would be the acronym for BCP, and then obviously we know the DR plan. So traditionally speaking, we've came in and we've done these one-time projects where we work with the client, get super engaged with the client. We do these one-time projects and everything's great. They take 3, 6, 8, 12 months to do these projects. Get really good trust and become a trusted advisor, get engaged with the account. And then we come back the next year, do the same thing over again, maybe skip a year, do the same thing over again. And so as you see here, we started to realize, hey, why don't we just continue to stay engaged? And we'll talk about that as a part of some of our managed CISO and virtual CISO engagements and managed governance as well, where instead of just doing the one-time, once a year, once every couple of year project, we actually stay engaged with those clients on a monthly basis. So again, the continuous problems with ransomware, we have our regulations that are increasing. So there's a significant problem, significant challenges for the organizations in the marketplace, and that's where we've had success with these offerings. So, our solution, I talked a little bit about the one-time and ongoing governance programs. We'll get into them a little bit more. But really it is just that. It's difficult for organizations to find or have a desire to pay ongoing fees for talent. So, the average, I think we might have a statistic in this slide deck, the average organization pays $250,000 to $300,000 for a CISO. So if you're a growing organization or an organization that's just generally not used to having to pay that, that becomes very difficult. So I think we've positioned some really good offerings where we can come in for a limited, amount of time, and we'll get into pricing and scope and some of those activities as well. But really based on the size of the organization, based on where they're at from a maturity perspective, we can come in and meet them where they are and continue to develop their program, get them into a good spot. And that's some of the services that we're going to talk about here today. So we can go to the next slide. The very first, we call it managed governance. So this is a little bit of a spin on a virtual CISO engagement. We've taken the top 5 or 6 projects that I've already talked about here today, and instead of just doing them once every year, once every couple of years, we call it managed governance. Let's continue to do these projects. Organizations are required to do them anyways. So these BIAs and business continuity plans and DR plans, they get audited every year. And certainly we know this, and organizations that have a response from a regulatory requirement or just want to maintain cybersecurity insurance, or, we work with many private equity firms that have clients where they want to make sure that their investment is protected. So they mandate that their clients go through these projects and have these updated and maintained ongoing. And so we saw that and we said, okay, well, let's just put together packages to where we can stay engaged. It's great because we can actually be a bigger part of a client's program. We can stay engaged with them. We build their relationship. We stay a trusted advisor. And then, from a selfish or a technology perspective, a revenue growth perspective, we see all of the areas to where they need help. So essentially, outside of what we've contracted for to go through and do policy updates or to do the BIAs, BCPs, along the way, we're working with their executive team. We're a member essentially of their executive team, a limited fractional member, but we do build relationships and we can see where we can make recommendations for additional services. So that's great, helps our clients, and it also helps us grow our revenue. So that's what we call managed governance. And really we see pricing, it could be anywhere from a couple $1,000 a month to, upwards of $25,000 a month. I think we got an average of 5 to 13 here. It's probably where we fall as far as most clients that we engage with, but it's going to depend on the size of the organization, and not only the size. I mean, we have some smaller clients that, a couple hundred employee health companies or whatever, and they're paying $6,000 or $7,000 a month, where larger organizations may be paying less because they don't need necessarily as much attention or as much of a time commitment. So that's become, very attractive, when these organizations already know that they have to do these activities on a yearly basis. It's actually more successful because we stay engaged with the client and not go away for a few months and then come back and have to start from scratch. And then also, if you're a CFO, this becomes extremely attractive as well, because you're not coming out of pocket for potentially $50,000 to $200,000 in a one-time cost. You're spreading that over the term of a contract. Go to the next one. So the other service that we're here to talk about today is our managed CISO service. And I'll start before I get to that with the difference between managed governance and managed CISO. So managed governance was essentially, here are the top projects that we know that you have to do. Here are the routine activities. You have to do a BIA, BCP. You have to do a tabletop exercise, an incident response plan. You have to go and test those activities. You have to do user training, team training. That's managed governance. Those are very specific tasks and activities that we're going to do on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis. We created virtual CISO or managed CISO, whichever you want to call it, where this is more, I don't want to say subjective, but it's more, hey, we'll help you in multiple ways. There could be policy development. There could be attending your board meetings. With many of our clients, we are essentially a member of their executive leadership team. So we have some clients and organizations to where I think the top, we're probably spending 40 to 60 hours a month. Otherwise companies are probably going out and hiring their own CISO, but 40 to 60 hours presenting to boards, presenting to executives, pulling together, doing everything that a CISO would do. pulling together your statistics from your SOC, from your SIM, from your user awareness training, really, ad hoc activities that are, tracked and defined. And we have KPIs and measurables to where we're meeting the expectation and driving the cybersecurity and risk posture for any organization. So that's, again, going back to being very integrated with our clients. We do become that trusted advisor. We build relationships. We're able to uncover more opportunities. And it's really an inside sales is what it is. And you don't look at it that way. Our team doesn't necessarily look at it that way when we're engaged with clients, because it's no different than if I'm just full-time CISO for an organization. I need funds to be able to do these tasks, and they're going to rely on me to pick the correct vendor. And that's no different when you're an outsourced managed CISO or virtual CISO. So very successful engagements. We've been doing this for a long time. I think we've been doing it, both kind of informally, and we morphed into these packages that we put together because we saw so much opportunity with these initiatives, whether it's the managed governance or managed CISO, that it just made sense to package them and train up our sales team. Go to the next. And pricing with this, so we do have I think we're probably on the bottom side, the floor is about $2,000 a month, and we say up to $8,000 a month. But again, we do have some where we're spending 40, 60 hours, and that pricing may increase. And the one thing to remember, the SLAs that we have here too, especially on the managed CISO side, we may have a 16-hour per month time allotted for managed CISO, but a client has an audit going or a greater need. So any given month, we're happy to bill time and material over those hours. So, it's to our clients' benefit to try to understand what the appropriate amount of hours are, because you're going to get a better rate. But by no means we're boxed into just being used for 8 to 16 hours. We can ramp up and get more engaged, and then we can also, create an addendum or an alternate contract to shift that to more hours at a more attractive rate for them. So we're very flexible with the way that we work with our clients. So we do typically see somewhere in that $5,000 to $6,000 range per month is where most clients end. Our go-to-market, this is one aspect of it, is creating this little presentation and overview today. We are out having conversations with clients. I know Adam and the partner team are working with the partners to develop strategies and plans there for that as well. So we won't spend too much time here. Reach out to your partner team. Reach out to the national partner team or the partner team. We're happy to get engaged, work with you on a pre-sales strategy. We've had great success setting up conversations or 30-minute pre-sales call with clients to make sure that we are meeting the expectations, whether that's going to be moving into the professional service engagement or an actual monthly virtual CISO managed governance. Yeah, please reach out to the partner team. We're happy to help. We are extremely focused on growing this line of business, so we're excited to be working with you. And again, my name is Shawn Davidson. I oversee our risk management program here at Quest. Looking forward to engaging with you and having further conversations. Have a great day, everyone.